What could possibly drive one of China's most beloved actors to throw himself out of an aircraft thousands of feet above New Zealand's rugged terrain, while his co-star watches in absolute terror from the ground? And why are fans now questioning whether Liu Yuning's increasingly reckless behavior is a cry for help or something even more disturbing? The entertainment world descended into chaos yesterday when footage emerged of Liu Yuning participating in what experts are calling one of the most dangerous and extreme parachute jumps attempted by any celebrity in recent memory, a heart-stopping aerial stunt that left witnesses on the ground screaming in fear, and Zhao Lusi herself visibly panicking and crying as she watched the man she has worked closely with for years deliberately put his life at risk in a way that seems to defy all logic. And concern for personal safety. The video, which has now been viewed over 300 million times across various platforms in less than 48 hours, shows Liu Yuning leaping from the aircraft with what appears to be casual confidence while those watching from below can be heard shouting and expressing shock at the extreme nature of the jump, with Zhao Lusi's distressed reactions captured in disturbing detail as she paces frantically, covers her face, and appears to be on the verge of a breakdown while waiting to see if Liu Yuning survives the descent. Why would Liu Yuning choose to engage in such an unnecessarily dangerous activity during what was supposed to be a relaxing vacation in New Zealand? And what does Zhao Lusi's extreme emotional response reveal about the depth of her feelings for him and her awareness of just how genuinely life-threatening this stunt actually was? The parachute jump was not a standard tandem skydive with a trained professional attached for safety, which would have been risky enough on its own, but rather what sources describe as a solo extreme jump from an altitude, and under conditions that even experienced skydivers consider exceptionally dangerous, and that recreational jumpers are typically prohibited from attempting without extensive certification and experience. Multiple skydiving experts who have reviewed the footage have expressed shock and concern that Liu Yuning was permitted to make such a jump, questioning the judgment and ethics of whatever company or individuals facilitated this stunt and warning that the actor was extraordinarily lucky to survive an experience that could easily have ended in catastrophic failure and death. The fact that Zhao Lusi appears to have been present and watching, possibly without full awareness of just how dangerous the jump would be until it was too late to stop it, has raised troubling questions about whether Liu Yuning considered how his risk-taking would affect those who care about him or whether his judgment has become impaired in ways that should concern everyone who knows him. But here's the detail that has sent fans into absolute meltdown and sparked intense debate about Liu Yuning's mental state and decision-making. Multiple witnesses report that immediately before boarding the aircraft, Liu Yuning made comments about testing limits and feeling truly alive, that experienced extreme sports psychologists recognize as potentially indicating someone engaging in dangerous behavior for psychological reasons that have nothing to do with genuine interest in the sport itself. The combination of his recent boat accident where he nearly drowned, his increasingly erratic social media posts, his apparent distance from family and longtime friends, and now this extreme parachute jump has created a pattern that has many people genuinely worried about whether Liu Yuning is going through some kind of personal crisis or psychological breakdown that is manifesting through escalating risk-taking behavior. Zhao Lusi's panicked reaction and visible distress as she watched him jump suggests she may share these concerns, and may have tried to dissuade him from the stunt, but felt powerless to stop someone determined to proceed regardless of the dangers, or the emotional toll his choices inflict on those who care about him. The extreme parachute jump took place at a location in New Zealand, known for offering some of the most spectacular and challenging skydiving experiences in the world, with jumps conducted over dramatic landscapes that include mountains, lakes, and coastline that provide breathtaking views for those brave or foolish enough to leap from aircraft at extreme altitudes. The company operating at this location specializes in what they market as extreme adventure experiences, for thrill seekers who find ordinary skydiving insufficiently challenging, offering jumps from higher altitudes, in more challenging weather conditions, and with options for advanced maneuvers that are not available through standard recreational skydiving operations. The fact that Liu Yuning sought out such an extreme provider rather than choosing a more conservative and safety-focused operation has been cited by critics as evidence that his priority was maximum danger and adrenaline, rather than reasonable recreation with appropriate safety margins. Zhao Lusi's presence at the jump site has been confirmed by multiple sources, and is visible in various videos and photographs that have surfaced showing the moments before, during, and after Liu Yuning's jump. According to witnesses, Zhao Lusi arrived at the location with Liu Yuning, and initially appeared to believe they were there to observe or possibly for Liu Yuning to do a standard tandem jump with an instructor. Her reaction when she learned that Liu Yuning intended to do a solo extreme jump was reportedly one of immediate alarm and strong objection, with witnesses describing her as arguing with Liu Yuning and pleading with him to reconsider or at minimum to choose a less dangerous jump option. However, Liu Yuning apparently refused to back down or compromise, proceeding with preparations for the extreme jump while Zhao Lusi became increasingly distressed about the situation. The footage capturing Zhao Lusi's reaction as she watched Liu Yuning's parachute jump is genuinely difficult to watch, showing a level of fear and emotional distress that goes far beyond normal concern, and suggests either that she understood the exceptional danger involved better than casual observers or that her emotional attachment to Liu Yuning is so deep that even witnessing him take calculated risks causes her severe anxiety. The video shows her standing with several other people, apparently Liu Yuning's staff or companions, as they watch the aircraft climb to jumping altitude. As the moment of the jump approaches, Zhao Lusi's agitation visibly increases, with her pacing back and forth, wringing her hands, and at one point appearing to try to look away but being unable to tear her eyes from the sky where Liu Yuning is about to leap into the void. The actual moment of Liu Yuning's exit from the aircraft was captured by cameras both on the ground and mounted on the aircraft itself, providing multiple angles of the heart-stopping instant when he launched himself into freefall. The ground footage shows a tiny figure silhouetted against the sky suddenly separating from the aircraft and beginning to plummet, and Zhao Lusi's reaction to seeing this is visceral and immediate. She is heard screaming and appears to cover her mouth with both hands, her entire body tensing as she watches Liu Yuning fall through the sky. Several people around her move to support or comfort her, but she seems barely aware of their presence, her attention completely focused on the descending figure that is falling far faster and from far higher altitude than occurs in standard recreational skydiving. Skydiving experts who have analyzed the footage of Liu Yuning's jump have identified several elements that mark it as particularly extreme and dangerous compared to typical celebrity skydiving experiences. The altitude from which he jumped appears to be significantly higher than standard recreational jumps, meaning he spent more time in freefall traveling at terminal velocity before deploying his parachute, increasing both the thrill and the risk of the experience. The deployment of his parachute, which is the most critical moment in any jump where equipment failure can prove fatal, appears to have occurred later than would be typical for a cautious or safety-focused jumper, suggesting either that Liu Yuning was deliberately maximizing his freefall time or that something went wrong with the timing that he had to compensate for. Additionally, weather conditions at the time of the jump included winds that several experienced skydivers have stated were at the upper limits of what should be considered acceptable for any jump, and should definitely have prohibited jumping for anyone without extensive experience. The moments after Liu Yuning's parachute finally deployed, and it became clear he would likely survive the jump, show Zhao Lusi's reaction transitioning from terror to overwhelming relief mixed with what appears to be anger or frustration. Witnesses describe her as breaking down crying while simultaneously appearing furious, a combination of emotions that relationship experts suggest indicates someone who has been put through an unbearable stress experience by someone they care deeply about, and who is processing both relief at survival and rage at being subjected to such fear. The fact that her emotional response was so intense and visible, captured clearly on multiple cameras, has sparked endless debate about the true nature of her relationship with Liu Yuning, and whether anyone could react with such extreme emotion to a colleague or friend's risk-taking without that reaction indicating deeper romantic feelings or attachment. Liu Yuning's own demeanor after completing the jump has been analyzed extensively, and adds to concerns about his psychological state and motivations. Rather than showing the typical elation and adrenaline high that most people experience after extreme activities, Liu Yuning appeared strangely flat and subdued in footage taken immediately after landing, almost as though the experience had not provided whatever he was seeking from it. His first words upon landing, captured by cameras and microphones present at the landing site, were reportedly something along the lines of "That's it," expressed with what sounded like disappointment, suggesting he had hoped for a more intense or transformative experience than the jump ultimately provided. This dissatisfaction, despite having just survived an extremely dangerous stunt, has been interpreted by psychologists as a potential warning sign of someone who is chasing increasingly extreme experiences in an attempt to feel something or escape from something, a pattern that often escalates until serious injury or death occurs. The interaction between Liu Yuning and Zhao Lusi immediately after he landed has become one of the most discussed and analyzed aspects of the entire incident. According to multiple witnesses, Zhao Lusi initially rushed toward Liu Yuning as he landed but then stopped several feet away from him, and the two stood facing each other for an extended moment without speaking while Zhao Lusi visibly struggled with her emotions. Some witnesses report that she appeared to be trying to compose herself before speaking, while others suggest she may have been too overwhelmed to find words adequate to express what she was feeling. Eventually, Zhao Lusi reportedly said something to Liu Yuning in a voice too quiet for most observers to hear, and his response, whatever it was, caused her to turn away from him and walk rapidly back toward the waiting area, displaying body language that witnesses interpreted as anger, hurt, or possibly both. The ethical and legal questions surrounding how Liu Yuning was permitted to make such an extreme jump have become a major focus of investigation and criticism. New Zealand has regulations governing skydiving operations and requirements for jumper experience and certification before certain types of jumps can be attempted, and multiple experts familiar with these regulations have questioned whether Liu Yuning met the necessary qualifications for the jump he made or whether the operating company cut corners or made exceptions due to his celebrity status and presumably willingness to pay premium prices. If violations of safety regulations occurred, the company could face serious consequences including fines, license revocation, and potential criminal liability if Liu Yuning had been injured or killed. The broader question of whether companies should facilitate extreme risk-taking by celebrities who may be psychologically vulnerable, or whose deaths would affect millions of fans, has been raised by safety advocates, who argue that greater gatekeeping and psychological screening should be required before allowing anyone to participate in potentially lethal activities. Fan reaction to news of Liu Yuning's extreme parachute jump has been overwhelmingly negative, with most responses expressing shock, fear, anger, or concern rather than the admiration that might have been expected if this had been framed as a brave or adventurous act. Many fans are explicitly stating that they do not want Liu Yuning taking such risks, and that his survival and well-being are more important than any thrills or content that might result from dangerous activities. Some fans have organized campaigns urging Liu Yuning to seek professional help and to consider how his risk-taking affects the people who care about him, while others have directed anger toward his management team and companions for allowing or facilitating the jump rather than intervening to prevent it. The intensity of negative reaction from fans represents a significant shift from typical fan relationships with celebrities, where supporters usually celebrate their idols' activities rather than criticizing their choices or expressing concern about their judgment and mental health. The broader pattern of risk-taking behavior that Liu Yuning has exhibited recently has been documented and analyzed by concerned observers, attempting to understand what might be driving these choices. In addition to the recent boat accident and now this extreme parachute jump, sources close to Liu Yuning report that he has been engaging in other dangerous activities including extreme rock climbing, high-speed motorcycle riding, and other adrenaline sports that represent a departure from his previous more cautious lifestyle. Friends and colleagues who have known Liu Yuning for years report being confused and worried by his transformation from someone who was relatively risk-averse and focused on his career to someone who seems to be actively seeking danger and pushing boundaries in ways that seem inconsistent with his personality and values. This pattern change has led some amateur psychologists and fans to speculate about possible causes ranging from midlife crisis to response to relationship problems to deeper mental health issues that require professional intervention. The impact of witnessing Liu Yuning's extreme jump on Zhao Lusi's mental and emotional well-being has become a concern among her fans and supporters, who worry that being subjected to such an intensely stressful experience could have lasting psychological effects. Trauma experts note that witnessing someone you care about engage in genuinely life-threatening behavior, while feeling powerless to prevent it, can create symptoms similar to those experienced by people who witness accidents or violence, including flashbacks, anxiety, and hypervigilance about safety. The fact that Zhao Lusi apparently tried to dissuade Liu Yuning from the jump, but was unable to change his mind, could create feelings of guilt or responsibility if something had gone wrong, even though she would bear no actual fault for choices made by an adult acting on his own agency. Some mental health advocates have suggested that Zhao Lusi should seek counseling or support to process this experience, and to develop strategies for setting boundaries with Liu Yuning if his risk-taking behavior continues. The question of whether Liu Yuning's extreme activities are being documented and potentially monetized for content creation purposes adds another troubling dimension to the situation. Some observers have noted that cameras were present for both the boat accident and the parachute jump, raising questions about whether these incidents are being filmed for eventual release as documentary content, reality show material, or social media posts. If Liu Yuning or his team is deliberately creating dangerous situations for content purposes, that would represent a deeply problematic prioritization of commercial considerations over safety and mental health. However, others argue that the presence of cameras might simply reflect the reality that celebrities are often documented by their teams or by fans and observers,